I'm excited to share some sections from our course platform about refrigerant gauges from compounds to digitals to wireless probes. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Section 9, Refrigerant Pressure Gauges. In order to measure the pressure of a bottle, an off and equalized system, or a running system, a pressure measuring device is needed. This device may be a compound gauge, a digital gauge, or a wireless pressure probe. Wireless probes are discussed in Section 12. The main purpose for measuring pressure is to convert the pressure to saturated temperature. Compound or digital gauges may be found on manifold gauge sets. These gauges may also be found with a stub end, which can directly connect to the port instead of using a manifold gauge set to connect to the system ports. Section A, Compound Gauges. A compound gauge is capable of measuring pressure above or below 0 psi. This gauge type may be used on a manifold gauge set or a gauge stub. A compound gauge typically has a saturated temperatures of 3 different refrigerants on the gauge face. Manufacturers make compound gauge faces with different combinations of refrigerant saturated temperatures. Figure 425 shows a blue loci gauge that has a saturated temperature for R22, R410A, and R404A, while figure 4-26 shows a saturated temperature of R454B, R32, and also R410A. The needle on a compound gauge points to the outer pressure ring while also lining up with the saturated temperature of the 3 refrigerants in the inner rings. Figure 425 shows a gauge pressure of roughly 118 psi, which aligns to the R410A saturated temperature of 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Figure 426 shows a gauge pressure of roughly 112 psi, which aligns to the R32 saturated temperature of 36 degrees Fahrenheit. A compound manifold gauge set for air conditioning typically includes 1 blue loci gauge, 1 red high side gauge, and hoses. See figure 4-27 and 4-28. If a compound gauge has a saturated temperatures of blended refrigerants on the gauge face, a blue loci gauge meant for connecting to the vapor port will typically display the saturated temperatures in dew point. The red high pressure gauge will typically display the saturated temperatures in bubble point. However, a PT chart or app is more accurate to convert the pressure to the correct saturated temperature. Compound manifold gauge sets meant for heat pumps may come with 2 high pressure gauges used for measuring high pressures during heating mode. Gauge stubs may also come with either a high pressure red gauge or a low pressure blue gauge. See figure 4-29. Gauge stubs avoid the need for hoses in order to connect to a system. If a gauge face is connected to a system that contains a refrigerant not listed on the gauge face, then a separate PT chart or app must be used to determine the saturated temperature. Do not connect the manifold gauge set or gauge stub to a system that has a higher pressure than the max pressure rating of a compound gauge and or a compound manifold gauge set. A compound gauge needs to be 0 before use. If a compound gauge is used at a different elevation prior to its use, the gauge pressure must be manually zeroed with a screwdriver at the adjustment screw. A blue compound gauge measures pressure above 0 psi and below 0 psi, but a red gauge only measures pressure above 0 psi. When a gauge pressure displays 0 psi, this is referred to as 0 psig. That means pounds per square inch gauge. This 0 psig does not take into consideration the actual surrounding pressure applied at sea level, which is 14.696 psi. This pressure applied at sea level is 14.696 psia, pounds per square inch absolute. There is less atmospheric pressure present as the elevation increases. On a compound gauge at sea level, a reading of 0 psig equals 14.696 psia. At sea level, 10 psig equals 24.696 psia. At sea level, 100 psig equals 114.696 psia. A typical compound gauge shows measurements in 0 psig and inches Hg. That's inches of mercury. 0 psig equals 0 inches mercury. So it's 0 psig equals 0 inch Hg. Figure 4-30 shows a measurement of 29.9 inch Hg on the gauge. Inches of Hg are indicated in the green area from 0 inch Hg to 30 inch Hg. Measurements below 0 psig are usually shown in inches of mercury vacuum, and that means inch Hg, but may also be shown in millimeter Hg, that's mm Hg. In the United States of America, Refrigerant recovery levels and pump down levels are mandated by the EPA in Section 608. Vacuum levels are discussed further in Chapter 11, Section 6. Now within the course platform, we simply hit next, and then we head to our knowledge check. So we're testing our knowledge. So for our first question, 0 psig equals blank, and that's 14.696 psia at sea level. On a compound gauge, inches of Hg are measured from 0-inch Hg to blank, and that's 30-inch Hg, and that's in that green section on the lower left of the compound gauge. A blue compound gauge can measure above or below 0 psi, and that's true. As we discussed, it can go into a vacuum in that green section all the way down to right above 30-inch Hg. Compound gauges require manual adjustment if there's an elevation change. And that's true because there's that adjustment screw towards the bottom of the compound gauge face. To determine the PSIA measured at sea level, do this. Add the 14.696 to the PSIG to get your total measurement. Inch Hg is short for blank, and that's inches of mercury. 0 psig equals blank, and that's 0-inch Hg. Remember that as you go into a vacuum, your inches of Hg number is going to increase. What is the pressure measured on each gauge? So on the blue gauge, we look at the outer ring, and each little increment is 5 psi increments. So we look at the 100 plus 1, 2, and the third increment, and so we know it's 115 psi. Now on the red gauge, once again, we look at the outer pressure ring, and those, once again, are in 5 psi increments. So we're at 305 psi. Now on to our next question. What is the R410A saturated temperature measured on each gauge? And so for the blue gauge, we take the outer ring and we bring it in on the needle to the inner ring for R410A saturated temperature. It's in 2-degree increments, and so we measure 38 degrees Fahrenheit. For that red gauge, we take that dial, we bring it into the inner ring for the R410A saturated temperature, which is in 2-degree increments, and we measure 102 degrees Fahrenheit. Now remember, a app or a PT chart is going to be more accurate than trying to use the gauge face. And now we can submit the assessment, and we can check out if we got any of the answers wrong, and we can see what the correct answer is. So here we can review to see if we retained all the information. Then we simply hit next at the bottom to continue. Section B, digital gauges. Digital gauges have a much higher accuracy and can be read and interpreted more quickly than compound gauges. Pressure is measured in 1/10 of a psig. Digital gauges are also not limited to converting pressures to only 3 saturated temperatures like compound gauges. Digital gauges may have the saturated temperatures of up to 70 refrigerants programmed within the tool. After the refrigerant type is selected by the user, anytime pressure is measured, the saturated temperature is automatically calculated and displayed to the closest 1/10 of a degree Fahrenheit. For the sake of automatic pressure to temperature conversions and accuracy, use digital gauges whenever possible. See Figure 432 to compare the display of a compound gauge to a digital gauge. Both gauges are measuring a pressure of 132.5 psi and displaying an R410A saturated temperature of 46 degrees Fahrenheit. The advantages of a digital gauge and disadvantages of a compound gauge are listed as follows. Advantages of a digital gauge. It can measure pressure in increments as low as 1/10 of a psig. It may be capable of measuring pump down and recovery levels in 1/10 inch Hg. It may be possible to send a tool to the manufacturer to check calibration. It usually auto zeros when turned on before being connected to a system. It may have a higher max pressure than common compound gauges. It is possible to have saturated temperatures of up to 70 refrigerants built in. It can convert 1/10 of a psig to an accurate saturated temperature of 1/10 of a degree Fahrenheit. It may have a wired or wireless temperature sensor used for measuring and calculating total superheat and subcooling. It displays pressure and temperature in an easier to see and interpret manner. Disadvantages of a compound gauge. The accuracy of a compound gauge may be off by 3% or more. Compound gauges must be checked and zeroed before each use. If a compound gauge gets bumped, it may become inaccurate or need to be re-zeroed. The compound gauge needle may get hung up and stuck from time to time. The saturated temperatures on the gauge face may be incorrect or inconsistent. The compound gauge face may be loose and move, resulting in higher inaccuracies. Compound gauges only have the saturated temperatures of 3 specific refrigerants. Then in the online course platform, we hit next to continue, and we enter our knowledge check. For the first question, which gauge type can measure in increments as low as 1/10 of a PSIG? And the answer is digital gauges. Which gauge type displays pressure and temperature in an easier to see and interpret manner? Once again, that's digital gauges. It's just much clearer, much bigger, and easier to see. Which gauge type can have an accuracy that's off by 3% or more? The answer for that is compound gauges. Which gauge type only has the saturated temperatures of 3 specific refrigerants? The answer for that is compound gauges. Which gauge type must be checked and zeroed more often before each use? The answer for that is compound gauges, because you can't zero out a digital gauge other than just turning it off and turning it back on, but a compound gauge, you'd actually zero it back out again at that little adjustment screw. What is the R32 saturated temperature that would be displayed on each digital gauge? For the blue gauge, we look at 111.9 psi, and we line that up with the saturated temperature, and we find 36 degrees Fahrenheit. On the red gauge, we take 281.3 psi, we convert that to the R32 saturated temperature, and we find 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we submit our assessment and review our answers to see which ones we got correct and which ones we might have got wrong, and see why. After that, we're going to hit next and continue on. Section 11, gauge stubs. Tool manufacturers have improved refrigerant pressure temperature measuring devices over time. Likewise, new procedures and methodology have been employed to reduce procedural time, increase accuracy, and reduce system contamination. Because of this, tool manufacturers and technicians are switching from manifolds with hoses to gauge stubs, also referred to as test gauges, and wireless probes. Gauge stubs can be found with either a compound gauge face or digital gauge face. For the sake of accuracy, use digital gauges whenever possible. Gauge stubs, see figure 4-42, can be connected to the ports instead of a manifold gauge set with hoses in order to avoid the use of hoses. There are 4 main reasons to avoid using a manifold gauge set and hoses. Accidental contamination of the system due to old refrigerant oil within the hoses. Accidental removal of refrigerant from the system upon disconnection. The possibility of a bad air purging process which allows air into the system. The air purging process takes time and multiple steps, so it's easier and faster to just connect a gauge stub or probe instead. A digital temperature meter with temperature sensors, see figure 443, digital temperature clamps, see figure 444, or wireless temperature clamps can be used in conjunction with gauge stubs. The use of gauge stubs or wireless probes allows for a quick connection to and disconnection from the system ports. These tools can be used in conjunction with an access tee for refrigerant charging. See figure 4-44. So if you want to learn more about HVAC, head on over to acservicetech.com/HVAC courses, and you can check out all the courses we have available. You can earn certificates. You can use any device for the training. You can use laptops. You can use tablets. You can use mobile devices such as your phone. And you can pick up right where you left off at. And once again, earn certificates for each one of the courses. We've got long courses, short courses, so that you can learn and grow in the field. So we also have AC Service Tech, HVAC School, and Love to HVAC video courses in here. We've got 55 hours so far. We also have our free courses available over there as well. So head on over to acservicetech.com/HVAC courses.